What's Crack-A-Lackin? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into the episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleaze. Sorry for the delay, man. Yesterday I couldn't get any content out, but we are going to grind through all the start sits here and get them out before the Thursday night kickoff. We are going to start with the quarterbacks. I'm going to give you points against, yards allowed, game script, defensive players that may be out injuries to help them be more starts and more sits. And then I'm going to give you high-end, low-end flex, and I'll break it down if I like them for a super flex play in this position for the quarterbacks this week. Now, remember, guys, we also have still a little mini buy-mageddon with 4 teams on a bye with the Bengals, Cowboys, Titans, and Chiefs. So we need to lock in. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you tap that thumbs up, hit that subscription button, turn that bell on. I'll be live today, 6 p.m. Eastern, for the first start sit show of the week with Big Draft Energy, who I run the guys FF with. And if you guys haven't checked out the promo code Sleaze on drafters.com, make sure you use that to sign up with us. Best ball drafts, pick'ems, DFS drafts, everything. And I'll be live tomorrow doing some of those, guys. Now, if you guys have any questions as well, drop them down below. It doesn't have to pertain to this video. I try to answer every single one of them. Let's dive into the quarterbacks that you should be starting or sitting in week 10. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my start sit QB board. Green must start. Yellow will be super flex. Low end, high end, I'll break that down. And next week I'll have different designs for it. Red will be a sit. And we are going to start off with Thursday night football, the division AFC West battle between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. 2-6 Raiders, 7-2 Broncos. Over under is 42.5. And Denver is favored by 9.5, which is kind of the scary reason for me with Bo Nix, but we'll talk about it here. So Geno Smith, I'm going to have as a sit, even though he popped off last week with Brock Bowers back. You are going up against the Denver Broncos defense, and you also lost Jacoby Myers in a trade. So they're pretty much already throwing in the towel for the year, which I think they should have traded a couple more players, but they did not. So the Denver Broncos defense, guys, even Patrick Surtain or not, which is not really going to be out there versus the wide receiver one, could he lock up on Brock Bowers, play him on the tight end position? He could, but they're not going to need that. So they give up 13.5 points to the quarterback. They've only given up 1,923 passing yards and 8 passing TDs. This defense is lights out. I am not starting Geno Smith, and I don't even like him as a super flex start this week. Now, on the Bo Nix side, the matchup is beautiful, right? You get the Las Vegas Raiders. They do rank 19th versus the quarterback, giving about 17.5. So if you can get that from your quarterback, that's kind of what you want. They've given up 1,897 pass yards and 11 passing TDs. But this is one of those game scripts where you look at it like they're favored by 9.5, right? Denver's at home. How much are they really going to need to pass if they don't score right away at the beginning? That's the only scary part for me. But Bo Nix is still going to be a start for me in this game. But it could be like a J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey show here because the Raiders aren't going to be that good offensively. So the game script kind of scares me, but Bo Nix is still a start for me because the matchup is great. Heading down to Berlin, Germany, another 6:30 a.m. Eastern game here for us on the West Coast. We're going to have the 3-5 Falcons, and man, this is like a must-win game for the Falcons here. Heading into the 7-2 Colts, who just also added Sauce Gardner through the trade deadline. So you're going to have Drake London, who just destroyed Chris Gonzalez, probably in another tough matchup with Sauce Gardner here. So for this game, the over-under 48.5, which is high for a Germany game. All these games that have not been on American soil have just been rough to watch, right? So Indy's favored by 6.5 in this game. Now, for Michael Penix here, you're going up against the Colts defense. And remember, they did get better. They added a very, very solid corner in Sauce. They give up 16.2. They rank 14th. But they've given up a ton of yards, 2,376 passing yards, which is bottom 5 in the NFL. But they don't give up touchdowns. So, sorry, I said that wrong. They've also given up 15 touchdowns as well. But I don't really... For some reason, I can't put these guys. Michael Penix as a start here with the Sauce Gardner. So he is going to be a super flex play for me. Bijan Robinson, hopefully he gets back together after the last what happened to him. So I'm going to say super flex for Michael Penix this week. Danny Dimes side, you get that. This is another good defense you're going up against. It's the Atlanta Falcons defense versus the QB. They rank number 6th overall, 14.3 points they give up, only 1,398 passing yards, which is number 1 in the NFL. And they've given up 13 passing TDs as well. So do I like Danny Dimes as a start? No, I like him as a super flex play. Michael Pittman dealing with the glute injury. I think he's going to be out there. They trade away Adonai Mitchell. You still have Tyler Warren. You still have Josh Downs. And JT should have a big game here too. But again, these are those games across the pond where it's like, man, it's probably going to be ugly. It's probably going to be like 2017. So both these quarterbacks, super flex plays to me, and I'm hoping we get a good game out there in Germany. On to Soldier Field we go, where it will be Jackson Dart and the 2-7 New York Giants heading into Soldier Field to take on the 5-3 Bears led by Caleb Williams. The over-under 47.5 in this game. Chicago's favored by 4.5, and this is the game I am targeting a ton of fantasy football points here. And both these quarterbacks are smash starts for me this week. They're both on my quarterback smash start video, and let's talk about why here. So when you look at the New York Giants side for Caleb Williams, they rank 29th versus the quarterback. That's fourth worst in the NFL. They give up 20.6 points. 2,222 passing yards, which is bottom 5, 15 passing touchdowns as well. And they've also given up 216 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. And 3 touchdowns on the ground is second worst in the NFL. And Caleb last week rushed for 53 yards. So you know he's been running more. Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze is going to get back involved. DJ Moore had a big game last week. And the Colston Loveland breakout we're starting to see is very, very nice. I just want to see my guy Luther Burden get involved. Now, Jackson Dart, this guy... Doesn't matter who he's playing against. He's just literally a must-start quarterback, even without Malik Neighbors out there. His rushing upside is through the goddamn roof. And you're getting the Bears defense. And where do the Bears rank? They rank 26th. That's 6th worst in the NFL, giving up 19.6 points a game. That's perfect for what you want. 1,986 passing yards, 13 passing TDs, 178 yards on the ground, and a touchdown on the ground. But what you have to look at in this game is the Bears also lost 2 linemen last week. Their entire secondary is destroyed. They have to score points at will. This is why that Bengals game was a shootout, which is why I wanted to target that Bengals game last week, because both those defenses are shot. And that's the same situation here. That's why the over-under is at 47.5, and I like it to even go over that. And I think both these quarterbacks are easy 20-plus point plays this week. Heading down to Miami with the 6-2 Buffalo Bills will be facing the 2-7 Miami Dolphins. The over-under 50.5, which is very high. Buffalo favored by 9.5 in this game. Now, I've said this with Josh Allen, you're not sitting this guy, right? But this is one of those games here, and James Cook practiced today, so don't panic on the Wednesday updates. I've ranked Josh Allen a little lower because Miami's so bad versus the run that this is why I have James Cook at RB1 this week, is because this could be a game where Josh Allen doesn't need to pass much. Obviously, this guy can give you 20 points in 2 drives if he wanted to, which is why you're not sitting him. I'm just saying temper your expectations a little bit here because this game script could get really, really ugly, and the Buffalo Bills could just destroy them on the ground. Now, when it comes to Tua, this guy's thrown 9 interceptions in 4 games. I'm not starting him versus the Buffalo Bills defense. It's only given up 1 passing TDs in the past 4 weeks. Their defense has gotten healthier. They're number 2 versus the quarterback overall, allowing 13.3 points, 1,512 yards, which is top 5, and 7 TDs, which is number 1 in the NFL. Good luck to Miami in this game. I am not even thinking about Tua even in Superflex. The 3-5 Ravens, who are trying to save their season with Lamar Jackson back, are headed into Minneapolis to take on the Vikings, who are 4-4. The over-under is 49.5. Baltimore is favored by 4.5, and it's going to be J.J. McCarthy who's going to be leading the way for the Vikings, which is kind of scary to me still. So when I look at this game here, obviously Lamar Jackson, you're not even thinking about it, right? This guy, instant plug and play. He's my QB1 on the week, even though you're getting the Vikings defense, right? And the Vikings, they rank right in the middle of the pack at 16th. They've given up 1,712 passing yards, which is top 10, 13 passing TDs and 125 and a touchdown on the ground. Doesn't matter to me. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, the connection is back. Derrick Henry, the Ravens. This is why I said don't give up on the Ravens, man. I think they're going to win this game, and I think they're going to win a lot of games here and be back in the playoffs here pretty soon. Now, J.J. McCarthy side, super flex play, yes, okay? So, obviously, you know, this is 4th game in his career. He's played 3 games. He had 1 bad game, 2 bad games, and he had 20 points in the bad game because he got the rushing touchdown. But the Ravens defense, they're bad versus the quarterback. They ranked 24th, giving up 18.9, 2,078 passing yards, which is bottom 10, 14 passing TDs, and 105 on the ground, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Now, you do have Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and TJ Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones maybe back out there to go with Mason. But how much, you know, I just had the feelings the Ravens just stomp them here. So I have JJ McCarthy as a super flex play, but it's kind of a tempered expectation, super flex play. Could he get a lot of points in garbage time? He does bring the rushing upside. You know, he had a big rushing touchdown last week that sealed the game for him. So I just don't fully trust him yet. But in Superflex, I'm okay with the start, but not in redraft. I would say I would go other places. The ugliest game of the week. Here we go. 37.5 over under, the lowest on the week. The 2-6 Browns are headed in to face the 1-7 New York Jets, who just sold off every single piece they have. Now, even when I look at Dylan Gabriel here, we're looking at, a matchup versus New York Jets defense. So when you look at the Jets defense, they already ranked 23rd versus the quarterback. They give up 18.8. They've also only given up 1,666 passing yards, which is top 5. So that's very good there. But they also just traded away Sauce Gardner, who's been lights out at corner this year. They've given up 15 passing TDs and 179 and a touchdown on the ground. I feel like this is more of a Quinshon Judkins game. They also traded away their superstar DT interior lineman, Quentin Williams. So they're in for the rebuild, man. And we don't even know if Justin Fields has been named the starter yet. So Tyrod Taylor practiced healthy, which I don't understand why after the Jets got a win, it would be a question if Justin Fields is starting or not. But when you're playing the Browns defense, this is a damn good defense across the board. Like the Browns, number 7 versus the quarterback, only give up 14.6 points per game, 1,595 passing yards, third best in the NFL, 14 passing TDs, only 97 yards on the ground, and 0 touchdowns on the ground. But that's the Justin Fields specialty, is his legs. So if you need a super flex play and he is named the starter, which we don't have yet, I'm okay with a low-end super flex play for him just because he can always pop that 50-yard rush. And I'm really, really excited to see my guy Adonai Mitchell get out there for the first time and finally get to showcase his skill set. I've been so high on that guy since he came out of Texas. And you also got Mason Taylor kind of breaking out and Garrett Wilson back in this game. So he could, have – Justin Fields is always that guy that can blow up. So I don't trust it for redraft, but I do trust it as a super flex low-end play for him here against the Browns D that's very good. For some reason, I feel like we're going to have a firework game here with the New England Patriots at 7-2, headed into the 6-2 Buccaneers. Over-under is 48. Tampa favored by 2.5 in this game, and we don't even know if we'll have Bucky Irving back yet because he didn't practice again today. But either way, that Patriots run D is damn good, so it's kind of sketch there. But this is the all-system green game for me here because both these quarterbacks are just too damn good. I mean, Drake May's entering superstar status already. Even if you're looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, they rank 13th, giving up 16.5. His rushing upside is always amazing. He's starting to click with Diggs. He's starting to click with Boutte on the deep balls, which is amazing. And same with Pop Douglas, who's playing limited 20% snaps, but he can get out there for a bomb. And they've given up 2,025 passing yards. So that's the kind of number you're looking at there. 11 passing TDs, 202 on the ground as well, and a touchdown. And I don't think you're really sitting Drake May anytime soon in the next 5 years, regardless, with how good this guy is becoming. Now, onto the Baker Mayfield side, looks like there'll be no Chris Godwin. We don't know that again yet. You're probably going to have a Mecca Egbuka out there by himself with Tez Johnson and Sterling Shepard. And you know that you can't run the ball against New England. So, and this is a damn good defense either way across the board. They're number 11 versus the quarterback, giving up 15.5, 2,136 passing yards. So they do give up a lot of yardage. 15 passing TDs, 119 yards on the ground, and no touchdowns on the ground. Vrabel has this defense playing lights out. But still, Baker Mayfield had like those 2 games before this bye happened where I don't know what was going on. He was just missing his wide receivers. Maybe they needed the bye week to hit. Obviously Mike Williams might have affected him mentally in that game. But he's got to bounce back here in this game. And I think this is going to be a fireworks shootout game for some reason, even though both these defenses are actually very good versus the quarterback. The second ugliest game of the week, the 1-8 Saints, who traded away Rashid Shaheed and threw Tyler Shuck to the Wolves against the Rams, like I said last week, are heading in to face the 5-4 Panthers, who are actually favored by 5.5, and they haven't covered a spread, I don't think, at home in like 7 years, which is going to be interesting. And I do like the Panthers in this game. But when you look at Tyler Shuck here, you do got Chris Olave. You're going up against the Carolina Panthers. Maybe Jawan Johnson gets a boost. Maybe Taysom Hill sees a couple plays here and there. But the Carolina Panthers, their defense has actually been vastly improved. So they're number 9 versus the quarterback. They only have 15.2. They just held down Jordan Love. They've given up 1,949 yards, only 11 passing TDs, 109 yards on the ground, and 3 rushing touchdowns as well. I am not even thinking about Tyler Shuck in a super flex situation this week. They have nothing. I mean, Alvin Kamara is banged up. The run game is going to be absolute trash. It's just a nightmare in New Orleans. I don't know what they're doing. They should have sold way more pieces at the trade deadline. Bryce Young side. I'm okay with Bryce Young as a super flex play this week, but I am worried about Rico Dowdle just controlling this game completely on the ground. So the Saints, they do rank 21st, giving up 17.9, 1,952 passing yards, 18 passing TDs, which is fourth worst in the NFL. So the opportunity is going to be there for Ted McMillan, Xavier Legette, maybe Jatavion Sanders if he can finally get it rolling here. But again, not a redraft start for me because I do think that Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard could, I think Chuba Hubbard will see more snaps in this game than last week because it was a closer game versus Green Bay. And I think the Panthers are going to roll him here, and I think the run game is going to be the heavy key factor. The 5-3 Jacksonville Jaguars, led by Trevor Lawrence, who just acquired Jacoby Myers to the trade deadline as well, are headed in to face the Houston Texans, led by Davis Mills. CJ Stroud is going to be out with a concussion in this game. And I don't like this game. I don't like this game at all. So I need to take CJ Stroud down here. And I'm not even going to throw Davis Mills on here in redraft or Superflex. I think you're in for a nightmare game on both sides. And the over-under is 37.5. That's very, very low. These are two very good defenses going at it. And I know BTJ didn't practice today. He may be out there. Travis Hunter is down. Diami Brown is still kind of banged up. And you got Parker Washington and no Brenton Strange. You got Hunter Long out there. So Trevor Lawrence Superflex, actually, let's go like this. This is the midway. I'm going to go low end Superflex play with Trevor Lawrence if you need, just because there is quarterbacks on a bye, and I don't love the play. The Houston Texans defense is damn good. They are number one versus the quarterback, 11.5 points per game, 1,548 passing yards allowed, top three, only 8 touchdowns. That's number 2 in the NFL allowed, and 0 touchdowns rushing on the ground. They've been a nasty, nasty defense. And I know that Davis Mills is the quarterback. Maybe the opportunities are there more for Trevor Lawrence. And, maybe ETN can finally get in from the 1-yard line because he got stuffed 3 times last week. But this is a game of kind of avoiding here, fantasy football-wise, because both these defenses are very, very good. And CJ Stroud, Davis Mills, I'm not even going to read, I'll read the Jags defense here, but They rank 27th, giving up 20.1 to the quarterback. I don't trust Davis Mills out there at all. You could say they've given up 2,063 yards and 19 passing TDs, which is bottom 5. But I'm not trusting a Davis Mills led Texans offense. The 3-5 Cardinals are headed into the 6-2 Seahawks at the 12th man to face Sam Darnold and the newly acquired Rashid Shaheed. Now, we got Kyler Murray headed to IR. Jacoby Brissett named the starter. He has made the offense look better, obviously. Marvin Harrison had a big game. Trey McBride's found the end zone more times in the 3 games with Jacoby Brissett than he did all year with Kyler Murray. We know all these stats, but this Seattle Seahawks defense is lights out. Very well coached. They were coming off the bye last week. They played lights out, and they're going to play lights out again here. They rank 15th, giving up 16.2. 1,929 passing yards, 11 passing TDs, 171 yards on the ground and a touchdown. But let's also throw in that their secondary was banged up for 3 weeks straight. So now they're back healthy. That's why off the bye, this defense looked amazing last week. They were absolutely lights out. They just destroyed that game before it even started. So at home, I'm not starting Jacoby Brissett here. I don't even like it in Superflex unless it's a desperation play like you need to throw him in there because I just do not like the matchup versus Seattle secondary. Sam Darnold. Wow. This guy is just unbelievable. The matchup's not good at all. So Arizona defense, they do rank 8th, giving up 15.1, 1,974 passing yards, only 9 passing TDs, top 3. And they've also given up 124 on the ground and a rushing touchdown. But, Sam Darnold's not rushing that much. But now, to go along with Jackson Smith and Jigba, you're going to have Rashid Shaheed, who could pop the absolute top off. He's going to be wide open all day with JCs and drawing all the attention. You've also got Cooper Kupp, who may be back. He didn't practice yesterday, supposed to practice him today. Even if he doesn't, Torrey Horton looked good last week as well, finding the end zone twice. And then you have A.J. Barner and Elijah Arroyo and Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. The Seattle Seahawks offense is going to be a nightmare to stop, even with a not very good offensive line. They have maneuvered this. Mike McDonald has been absolutely amazing, and I think Seattle just runs him out the building here. The 6-2 LA Rams are headed in to face my 6-3 San Francisco 49ers, and the over-under is 49.5, and LA is favored by 4.5 in this game. Now, we don't know if Brock Purdy's going to be out there yet. He practiced limited again. He practiced limited last week. They say he needs to get a full practice in. So we're hoping that happens. And if Brock Purdy's out there, he's a start for me. So this is a double-sided thing here. And if Brock Purdy's not out there, I put Mac Jones as a flex or super flex play this week, and I like it a lot. So it's like a high-end super flex play if you have Brock Purdy out. So I'll put it like on the higher side here. Now, when you look at the Rams defense, this is a damn good defense. They are number 5 versus the quarterback, giving up 14 points a game, 1,805 yards, 9 passing TDs, top 3 there, 143 on the ground and a rushing TD. But it's just the McVay-Shanahan thing that happens here. And you look back at last game, Mac Jones was a start, and I was like, he's not a start versus the Rams D. This is just two mastermind coaches going at it. So if Purdy's out there, he's a start for me. And onto the Stafford side, he is on my smash play. My San Francisco 49ers defense has fallen apart. All these injuries are just too much to overcome. I mean, Nick Bosa, superstar DN, down. Fred Warner, the best linebacker in football, down. Mykel Williams, our number 1 pick, down. Pharrell, the guy we signed last week, gets hurt. Our defensive line is going to get no pressure. And that's why we have less sacks ourselves than Brian Burns on the New York Giants by himself. That is how bad these injuries have just deflated our defensive line. So Matt Stafford, and I was worried about him last week versus the Saints. I was like, that might be a bad game script. He is out of his mind. Puka Nacua is going to be out there. Devontae Adams is going to be out there. Fire up both these quarterbacks that starts this week if Purdy's out there as well. The 5-3 Detroit Lions are headed into the 3-6 Commanders, who are going to be led by Marcus Mariota in this game. So, and the over-under here is 49.5, which is crazy, man. They must think the Lions are going to score 30 points, as do I, because they're favored by 8.5, and I don't think the Commanders even have a goddamn chance in this game without Jaden Daniels and that gruesome elbow injury, man. That one made me cringe, man. So, when you look at the Commanders' defense, it doesn't get any better than this for Jared Goff. They rank 30th, giving up 20.8, 2,417 passing yards allowed on the season, which is second worst in the NFL. And Marcus Lattimore just went to the IR. That's one of their corners, so they lose another one. 19 passing touchdowns, also third worst in the NFL, and 169 on the ground and a touchdown on the ground. But Jared Goff isn't rushing anytime soon. The only thing I'm worried about with Goff here is kind of like the other game I talked about here at the beginning is like the Bo Nix game, right? I'm worried about is he going to need to pass much here? Is this game going to stay close? When you see a 10-point spread, that's how I look at it. So I'm like, this could be Jahmyr Gibbs' bounce back game where he goes for 30 and they don't need to pass much because how much is Marcus Mariota going to keep them in this game? Now, when I look at the Marcus Mariota side, the Detroit Lions, they're bad versus the quarterback. They're very good versus the running back, and we know that Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt's in for a tough game here this week. So they give up 17.9. They've given up 1773 through the air, 16 touchdowns through the air, and 146 on the ground, and 2 rushing touchdowns. That is why Marcus Mariota is going to stay a super flex play for me, because the rushing upside he gives you. You know Terry McLaurin's not going to be out there, so it'll be Debo and Zach Ertz and possible Jalen Lane with Luke McCaffrey also on IR too. And I don't think you're going to run much against Detroit. So, maybe they unleash, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt finally in the passing game with all their, injuries and season kind of being in shambles right now. But Mariota, with the rushing upside, he's still a super flex play for me, even in a tough matchup here. Oh, it's going to be a big game on Sunday Night Football. The Pittsburgh Steelers are headed into Los Angeles to take on the Chargers, 44.5 over under. Chargers are favored by 2.5. Big playoff implications on the line in this game. And just remember when the season started, man, and I told you the Steelers would make the playoffs, everyone kind of laughed at me. They're going to do it, man. I'm telling you. So, Aaron Rodgers, this guy has actually been consistent. 41 years old. He's been very, very efficient. It is a bad matchup versus the Chargers. They rank number 4. They give up 13.7. They got Khalil Mack back as well. So, the pass rush with Aaron Rodgers and his stature not being able to move is going to be very, very rough. They've given up 1,736 passing yards, 8 passing TDs, second best in the NFL, tied 220 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. But we know Aaron Rodgers isn't running at his old age. I was also very surprised that the Steelers didn't go attack a wide receiver here. I guess they want to stick with Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin to go with DK Metcalf, which I thought if they were going to make a push, they should go get another one. But Aaron Rodgers is still a super flex play. This guy is a top 15 quarterback, averaging around 15, 16 points a game, even in tough matchups. He's been great, and when he gets under the bright lights, he always plays even better. So super flex play for me here with Aaron Rodgers. And Justin Herbert is in my top 5 absolute smash play this week. You get the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Now, I know they played lights out versus Indianapolis Colts last week, and that was one of those aberration games or something, because the Steelers defense plays good, then it plays bad, then it plays good, then it plays bad, then it plays good, then it plays bad. So we had the good week last week. Are we going to get the bad week, or are they going to stay consistent this week? They give up 20.4 points per game, ranking 28th. 2,396 passing yards. That's fourth worst in the NFL. 14 passing TDs and 111 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. And Justin Herbert's been using his legs. His rushing prop is like the freest every single week. He's been absolutely electric on the ground. When you have Ladd, when you have QJ, when you have Keenan, when you have, it's just, Aronde Gadsden emerging. He's going to have a big game here. Justin Herbert's one of my favorite plays this week. Easy start call. Last but not least, they brought the heat for Monday Night Football. The 6-2 Eagles and Jalen Hurts are headed into the 5-2 Packers, coming off that bad loss versus the Carolina Panthers. 45.5 over under, and they even gave the Packers the spread at 2.5. And this is an all-system green game. Now, I know when you look at the Packers defense, they're damn good this year. They're number 10 versus the quarterback, giving up 15.4 points, 1,705 yards, which is top 10, 12 passing touchdowns, only 53 rushing yards on the ground and a touchdown on the ground. But Jalen Hurts always gives you that tush-push opportunity, so he's always a start, which is crazy, even though their passing game hasn't been that good this year. A.J. Brown banged up coming into this game. We hope he's out there. Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, I think, is going to have a big game here. Saquon, I don't know. Dude, Rico Dowdle just ran over the Packers defense, so you'd like to see Saquon Barkley get it going off the bye, but we don't know how that hamstring update's looking yet. I haven't seen anything there yet. But with Jalen Hurts, I'm starting no matter what, especially on a Monday night game. And then on the Green Bay side, I'm going with Jordan Love as a start too. Now we're hoping Matthew Golden can get out there. They lost Tucker Kraft. Luke Musgrave is not a bad replacement for him. Trust me, he was very good in college coming out. And you get the Green Bay defense. They're right in the middle of the pack. They rank 17th, giving up 16.9, 1,803 passing yards, only 8 passing touchdowns, though. That's number 2. That's the tough part because they have Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell out there who are lockdown corners. 207 yards on the ground and 3 rushing touchdowns. But you've got to think in this game, this is, I think, a shootout game potential here, even with both these good defenses. And you got Christian Watson. Hopefully they get Matthew Golden back. We got the update on Jaden Reed. Looks like week 13 for him. And you still got Romeo Doubs. So they've got to unload here on this passing game. LaFleur's got to start opening up the play call. I don't know what happened last week in Carolina. It looked terrible. So I'm expecting a big bounce back from Jordan Love here, and both these quarterbacks are starts for me. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. That is the end of the episode. That is all the quarterbacks, every single matchup, start, sit for week 10 to help you guys. Remember, if you have any questions, drop them down below. And remember, if you have it on your way out, help your boy out. Hit that like, turn that bell on, hit that subscription button. Again, I'll be live tonight. And if you haven't checked out both the links, the guys, FF or drafters.com, they're both pinned in the top of the comments and in the description of the video. And that's it for me in this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. My next episode is going to be all the running backs, and then we're going to get to wide receivers and tight ends, and hopefully we get them all out before this Thursday night Broncos Raiders kickoff. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Sleazebum out.